You are 6 years old, and you already know what death looks like. Your village lost 3 men last winter, 1 to a fever, 2 to a raid from the eastern shores. Their bodies came home on shields, the women wailed, the men were silent. You watched, and you learned that silence is how Norse men carry grief. Your father is a farmer and a fighter. Most Viking men are both. He works the fields in summer and sharpens his axe in winter. You follow him everywhere. You carry water, you stack wood, you feed the animals before dawn, because in this world, weakness is something that happens to other people. At 6, you get your first knife, not a toy, a real blade, short and heavy, with a bone handle worn smooth by your father's hands before you. He says, "A man without a blade is not a man." He shows you how to hold it, how to cut, how to clean it after. You sleep in the Longhouse with your family and the animals. The smell is overwhelming at first. You stop noticing it within a week. The fire burns in the center, smoke rising through a hole in the roof. In winter, the warmth is everything. In summer, the smell is worse, but you survive. You listen to the skalds at night, poets who memorize the old stories and recite them by firelight. The gods, Odin, Thor, Freya, the great battles, the heroes who died well and earned their place in Valhalla. You fall asleep hearing about men who charged into impossible odds and smiled because dying in battle is the best death a Norse warrior can ask for. You want that. You are 6 years old, and you already want that. You are 10. Your father has started training you seriously, not games anymore, real training. Every morning before the farm work begins, you practice with a wooden sword. Your father hits back, not gently. He says pain now means survival later. You have bruises on your arms and ribs constantly. You stop flinching after the first month. You learn to wrestle. Glima, the Norse style, where the goal is to take your opponent to the ground using leverage and timing rather than brute strength. You are small. You learn leverage quickly because it is your only option against older boys. You learn to throw spears at targets, axes at tree trunks. The axe is your favorite. Something about the spin, the arc, the solid thunk when it hits through. You practice until your shoulder aches, and then you practice more. The older boys in the village include you in their training now. This is not kindness. They need someone smaller to practice throws on. You hit the ground so many times you lose count. You learn to fall without breaking anything. You learn to get up without showing how much it hurts. Your mother watches all of this with a face that says nothing. Norse women do not beg their sons to stay safe. They hand you your weapons, and they expect you to use them well. Tears are for after, in private, where no one can see them weaken you. Level 3, the first raid. You are 16. You are going on your first raid. The longship holds 40 men. You have helped build this ship. You know every plank, every oar, every rope. The dragon head on the prow is carved from oak and painted red. It is meant to terrify. It works. You push off from shore at dawn. The village watches from the beach.
Your mother stands in the front. She does not wave. She nods once. That is enough. The sea is nothing like the fjord. The open ocean moves in ways that make your stomach revolt for the first 2 days. You vomit over the side, while older men laugh. They all did the same their first time. They do not tell you this until later. You row in shifts, 8 hours on, 4 hours off. Your hands blister and bleed and callous. The salt water gets into everything. Your clothes are always wet. You sleep on the open deck, wrapped in a wool cloak that smells like a wet dog. After 2 weeks, you see the coast of England for the first time. green and soft and rich in ways your rocky fjord homeland never is. The raid leader points to a monastery on the hill. He says, "They have gold and grain and no walls worth mentioning." He grins. Your stomach tightens, not from fear exactly, from the knowledge that what you have trained for your entire short life is about to happen. There is no more preparation, there is only the moment. You grab your axe, you follow the men over the side of the ship into shallow water, you run up the beach. You do not think, your body knows what to do, the training takes over. That is the point of training. Level 4. The Raider. You have been on 6 raids. You have scars now. One across your left forearm from an English sword. One on your chin from a thrown stone. Small marks. Minor wounds. You were lucky, and you were fast, and you were trained well. The raids follow a pattern. Find a target, strike fast before resistance can organize, take what can be carried, burn what cannot, leave before reinforcements arrive. It is not complicated.
It is brutal and efficient, and it works. You are good at it, not because you enjoy the killing. You have learned that most men who claim to enjoy killing are lying or broken, but because you are fast and calm and you do not hesitate. Hesitation in a raid costs seconds, where they belong. The raid leader asks for you by name. The plunder changes your life. Silver arm rings taken from English nobles, bolts of fine cloth your mother sells at the market, enough to buy 2 more cows and repair the Longhouse roof. Your family eats better than they have in years. But you are away from home for months at a time. You miss harvests, you miss festivals, you miss your family in ways you are not prepared for. Raiding is freedom and loneliness at the same time. You get used to both. Level 5. The Huscarl. A Jarl has noticed you. Jarl Sigurd, lord of 3 villages and a fleet of 8 ships. He watched you fight during a raid on the Frankish coast. He saw you hold a doorway alone for long enough for the rest of the crew to fall back and regroup. You took 2 wounds doing it. You held the doorway. He offers you a place among his Huscarls, his household warriors, his personal guard. You accept before he finishes the sentence. Huscarls are the elite. You eat at the Jarl's table. You sleep under his roof. You receive silver for your service. You train every day with the best warriors in the region. Your skills sharpen in ways that years of raiding never managed. You learn the Danish axe.
A weapon with a handle as long as a man is tall, and a blade that can split a shield in half. In the hands of a trained Huscarl, it is the most terrifying thing on a battlefield. You practice until your shoulders burn, and your grip is so strong you can hold the handle one-handed. The Huscarls are a brotherhood, 12 men who have sworn to protect the Jarl with their lives. You eat together, train together, drink together. You know these men will die for you because you have already seen 2 of them take wounds meant for others. The bond is forged in blood and held together by loyalty that has nothing to do with obligation and everything to do with choice. This is the life you were born for. Level 6. The Battle-Hardened Warrior. You have fought in 3 pitched battles now. Not raids, battles. Shield walls against other Norse armies, against Frankish cavalry, against English levies who fought with more courage than skill. The shield wall is nothing like the stories. There is no glory in it. There is just the press of bodies, the stench of fear sweat and bowel movements and blood, the weight of shields locked together, the screaming, the pushing, the killing of men close enough that you can see their eyes when they die. You have killed enough men that you have stopped counting. This is not something you discuss. Warriors who count their kills are compensating for something. You just do the work and come home and drink enough mead to sleep without seeing faces. But you are alive. You are alive when better men are not.
The Jarl's best Huscarl, a man who taught you half of what you know, died at the Battle of the River with a spear through the throat. He killed 4 men before he fell. The Skalds will sing his name. You carry his arm ring now. He had no sons. He gave it to you the night before the battle, as if he knew. Maybe he did. Veterans sometimes know. The Jarl promotes you. You are the new captain of his Huscarls. 12 men are your responsibility now. Their lives are in your hands. You take this as seriously as anything you have ever taken in your life. Level 7, the Raid Leader. The Jarl trusts you to lead raids independently now. Your own ship, your own crew, your own decisions. The first time you stand at the prow of a longship as its commander, something shifts inside you permanently. This is what you were built for, not following orders, giving them. You have learned that leadership is not about being the best fighter. You are good, but there are men in your crew who are better. Leadership is about judgment, knowing when to strike and when to wait, knowing which targets are worth the risk and which are traps, knowing your men well enough to predict how they will perform under pressure. You develop a reputation across the northern seas. Other raid leaders know your name. English coastal villages post watchers who look specifically for your dragon prow. This is the highest compliment a raider can receive. You negotiate with Jarls from other regions. Alliance, not just battle. You understand now that the Vikings who last are not always the best fighters. They are the best politicians. Violence is the tool, but relationships are the foundation. You are becoming something more than a warrior. You are becoming a leader of men. Level 8, the Jarl. Jarl Sigurd died in his bed. Old age.
A good death for a warrior, though he would have preferred otherwise. He had no sons. He had you. The Thing ceremony is simple. The warriors of his household gather. They raise you on a shield. They beat their weapons against it, and they cheer your name. You are Jarl now. The lands are yours. The ships are yours. The responsibility is crushing. You hold court. You settle disputes between farmers over land boundaries and livestock. You dispense justice, Norse justice, direct and often brutal, but consistent. Your people know what to expect. Consistency is the foundation of trust, and trust is the foundation of everything. You lead your fleet on the great expeditions now, not quick raids, but long voyages. East along the rivers of Rus, trading furs and slaves for silver and silk. West to the British Islands, where Norse settlements are growing into something permanent. You are not just raiding anymore, you are building. You have a wife and children. This changes everything. Before, death was abstract, possible, even welcome if it came in battle. Now, death is a betrayal of people who need you. You fight more carefully. You think 3 moves ahead. You send younger men into the most dangerous positions because you cannot afford to die. This is the contradiction at the heart of being a Norse leader. The warrior code says to seek glory and not fear death. The responsibility of lordship says to survive because your people cannot afford to lose you. You live in that contradiction every day. Level 9, the Legend. The Skalds sing your name across the Norse world. Your voyages have taken you further than most men ever travel.
You have stood in the markets of Constantinople and traded with men who had never seen a Norse longship before. You have navigated rivers so far east that the language around you was unrecognizable. You have fought in England and France and the islands at the edge of the known world. You are old now by Viking standards. The wounds ache in cold weather. There are too many to count. A broken rib that healed crooked, a knee that never fully recovered from a battle 20 years ago. The sword arm is slower than it was. But you are here. You survived when so many better men did not. The boy who slept in a smoky longhouse with the animals, who got his first knife at age 6, who vomited over the side of a ship on his first ocean voyage, that boy became this. A Jarl, a warrior, a man whose name travels faster than his ships. The young warriors look at you the way you once looked at the old veterans, hungry and patient and waiting to learn what you know. You teach them, not just the fighting. Anyone can teach fighting. You teach them the things that kept you alive when fighting alone was not enough. Patience, judgment, the wisdom to know when glory is worth the cost and when it is not.